Good night. How is everybody doing? Hey, hey, hey. I am Joneil Alcott, and I am tonight gonna talk quickly about how to achieve goals when you don't have time. Of course, it's a play on words because it really means when you believe you don't have time. And I've been doing a series online. If you missed any of the previous ones, please do check out my YouTube page or my Facebook page, or if you're on LinkedIn, some of the videos are on there too, where I go through a few things in relation to goal planning and how it is that you can do various things despite what you think you can do. Needed once you put in the effort, once you put in the various uh, specific timelines and details in relation to what you want to do, over time, you can succeed. So there were about three or so videos previous to this. You can check them out and see the details. Last uh, one was very interesting because it went through a series of different ways where you think you don't have enough money to approach a goal or to do a project, and we listed multiple different ways that you can try to do so, even if you're starting with $0. Tonight, I want to concentrate on this concept of time. Now, time waits for no man. That is one of the phrases that always comes to us, right? And the beauty about time is that you get the same 86,400 seconds every day. And that comes to every man, unless, of course, they pass away that day. And it comes every other day, and it remains the same, despite the season, despite your challenges, despite what's going on. So before the next day starts, when you have woken up, you will see that you already have an opportunity as everybody else around you to achieve something despite how much time you presume you have or you don't have. Now, one of the things that you need to be very sure and clear of is this. Do you know your schedule of your day? Tonight, I'm on here at 8:30 p.m. CST. And I guess it will be streamed elsewhere and or reshared somewhere else. And or some persons somewhere will see it at another time zone at another time. However, have you imagined that today I had multiple things to do, set on a schedule, both for work as well as for personal reasons. And also, I put them in a calendar, and I also put them in a book somewhere in like a scheduler. And that has helped me over a series and a period of time to be able to know what I'm doing each day, why I need to do it, and then also find ways to prioritize the things that are most important that will push the fulcrum of whatever goal I'm looking for that period of time to succeed. Now, if you know what's on your calendar, you win. If you don't, then your goals may not be so well defined. Oh my God, I need to show my face because I need you to understand this to the fullest. If you have a phone, streaming through a phone and then a computer, if you have a journal, or if you have just a calendar, you can at any point take up your pen, mark up the calendar, mark in the journal, mark in the schedule or the diary. You can at any point take up your phone, go into the inbuilt calendar system, go into Google Calendar or one of the other features of your device that shows some things in relation to time and set some things in there and ensure, especially if you're a busy person, that you set times and spaces in between the times to meet and to do the things that you need to do. Now, if you look and you have no clue what happens each day that you started, then you've already started to lose because it means that you're not sure who you are, what you're supposed to be doing for the day, what your main aim or goal in your life is, and also what your goal for that specific day is. And if you don't have an aim, then how can you reach it? How can you get to the target? If you have no aim, then what's the point? You just begin the day, do whatever, and then whatever. But a person whose life is streamlined by deadlines, by timelines, by aims and goals and objectives, with an understanding of who they are and where they want to go, will always succeed because they're always looking to aim to get somewhere. The next thing that plagues many persons is that they become very easily distracted. Many times they actually become distracted because you haven't learned to say no. You haven't learned to say no to the significant other who wants to talk to you for a few minutes while you're doing a specific task, and you can always call them back. You haven't learned to say no to a boss who wants you to work at a specific time when that is a specific time for you to have your personal time. That is not work related. You haven't learned to say no to people who will want to bring some idea or some of their life goals which are not aligned to your life goals, and you run along with them simply because it's something that looks shiny and may assist you presumably in some way. You haven't learned to say no. And those are just some simple examples. But have you ever thought about the fact that sometimes you pick up your phone and people just messaging you, or you pick up your phone to be scrolling on Instagram, especially on TikTok, are very, very addictive channels, and you you haven't found ways to block it out? Have you ever realized that there's something in your phone you can actually go in there and see how much time you spent on the phone for the week or for the day? But there are also apps you can download. But if you go in there, you will realize the time that you spend on specific apps. And you need to go and find it and or download an app to track that so you know how much time you're wasting on doing things that are not so uh, beneficial. Now, Joneil and many of his colleagues do digital marketing, and we have to be online 24/7. And so sometimes we are scrolling and assisting to post, and we have a client and or assisting in something or building our own brands and doing something. And the social media may need to be used. But how about somebody who presumably is just scrolling because they're getting distracted by something that's not teaching them something, or something that's not entertaining them in a way when they're supposed to be relaxing, and or it's not edifying them in some way if they are a Christian, for example, and is trying to live a life that is righteous and pleasing to God. Are you distracted? Are you time wasting? Are you doing what they call doom scrolling? Are you being productive? Or are you using the times when you presume you're free, and then when you need to do something productive, you are wasting time periodically during the day, and then you said you had no time? You now need to become more efficient. You need to become accountable. You need to have people around you who can mentor you. Hopefully, it can be your maybe your supervisor at your workplace. Maybe it is one of your parents. Maybe it is a pastor. Maybe it is somebody who you went online and you see that they're doing some work in relation to life coaching, and you sign up for something that they're doing, and they assist to go through your life with you. and plan your days so that you are streamlined and moving to your target. But if you don't set that in place, you now have to become your own accountability partner. And that is where the calendar um, that I mentioned earlier will become very important. Each day I have various things that ping and do various sounds. So it alerts me to look and remember that I have something to do in 30 minutes, or I have something to do in the next hour, or something important to do the next day, but I need to now plan for it the day before. And if you are not in that zone where you can tell a lot about somebody simply by knowing what their calendar says. You need to also be persistent, because if you're trying to be efficient and you remain accountable to somebody who helps you to get to where you need to go, and you fail at a task, which is common. Good night, everybody who's on. If you have a question, please ask it. We're on briefly for a few minutes, just talking about ensuring that you know you still have time to do some of the tasks that you presume you don't have time for. Now, if you have failed at a task and you presume that that is the end for you, then you don't understand the process of how progress happens, which is that you must fail in order to reach to the next stage of what you're doing. Usually, before you get from one stage and you're moving along increments by different subtasks, we spoke about that in one of our previous videos. You can go back and see where I said how to plan for goals in 10 minutes or less. And when you're going along, and you're doing the task little by little, and each task you try to pass it and complete it to get to the next task, to get to the next stage, to get to the next level, and then you eventually reach the goal that you were hoping for. But each way, part along the way, you will fail or have some issues, and then you have to correct or adapt it, or you face a challenge and then you go through the challenge until you get to the end. But if the failure comes anywhere along that path, and you presume that that now is the end for you, then you don't understand that failure is guaranteed along the points in which you need to go to the ending of what you're doing. What is not sure is is the progress. If you don't fail, you can't win. If you don't have points when you miss a deadline, you just be some perfect human. You will miss one. So don't worry about that. If there is not a time where you go into the fullness of where you want to be, or trying to go anyways, and you don't complete a task as well as you could have, then you'd have reached into some perfection zone and nobody ever reaches there. So just leave that alone. Suck up the failure. Stop worrying about the feelings of how you feel when it's not as good as it can be. Move along and do it as excellently as you can. Fail, fail, then you will win, then you fail again, then you might stop and get tired, then you might get some mentorship somewhere, then you may read and get some more information, then you get to start to win, and then you're going to fail again, and then you're going to do a little better until you approach this point called mastery, where you start winning at more exponential rates simply because you did not stop at the point when you failed. And people hate failure because that presumes they presume that means that they're not good enough anymore or they can't complete the task. But what you will know is that you can delegate tasks. If you reach to a point where you are doing something that is extremely difficult, that means that needs specialized skill sets, and or where you have the skill set where you have multiple tasks that you need to do, and then you need to break it down to give other persons some of those tasks so that they doing little bits of the same things that you're trying to achieve, plus you overseeing them and doing other things, can reach to the fullness of the greater goal that you're aiming for. And this especially is one thing that most people forget. They want to be the one-man show, or they want to presume to be the solo, just riding solo and doing the best they can. Me against the world. Please don't do that. You reach to the points of where you need to go to quicker by building teams and getting persons of like-minded vision and a similar work ethic, or even if they don't have a similar work ethic, they have the capacity to do what you have given them in a timely enough manner, and everybody working together, put together, will now reach to the full goal of what you were trying to achieve. You would have saved time. They would have done some of the tasks that can pass on to them because it's not as super important as another main goal you're doing. And then at the end of a month or end of a period, you put together all of the tasks that everybody did, bam, and then you reach quicker to the goal that you were hoping for. Now it is that you see that there are some times and some seasons where you're not as efficient, you're not as productive, you're sometimes distracted, your calendar says nothing about you. You get up each day and you don't even know what you're supposed to be doing. Please don't live your life like that. And so I want you to please navigate to jonailalcock.com/finish strong 2025, and you will see that there is a special going on now for doing some tasks in relation to um, goals planning. It is actually a special because there are other things on the side that you can get for little or nothing for one bundle price when you sign up for this goals planning series. If you're online, um, I'm typing I'm trying to put this in the chat. You will also see it somewhere else on my social media. And I implore you to go there if you're still trying to figure out your days, still trying to figure out how to get better at planning some of the things you're doing. And, you may not be as strong in the area of being disciplined. Because what I have found is that many times when people come into environments where now they're either coached and are propelled and pushed into seeing where they are and what they can do, then it starts to get better for them in achieving some of the goals that they need to. You have goals that you're looking to achieve. Don't be distracted. Become more efficient. Stop the doom scrolling. Ensure that you find ways to fill your calendar with productive things to do towards the tasks that you need to do. Drop some of the social activities in relation to TV watching or going out or looking at some things online or other things that are not going to help you emotionally and spiritually and mentally so that you can concentrate on going towards the goal that you're going towards. Delegate some of your tasks and also try to find ways to be accountable, be mentored and coached by others. That's a simple way to find back some of the times that you thought you lost. And I know you can do it. Just progress further. Check out the link in the chat somewhere and let us all join together, working to the best of our abilities to achieve the goals that we have set out for ourselves. Yes, time waits for no man, but I can guarantee you that your goal is waiting for you. So use your time effectively. See you soon.